What's up guys, I'm Lauren and welcome back to my channel where we talk about money and mindset as well as my family's own journey to pay off six-figure debt. So today we are doing a recap of our January budget. January, I have mixed feelings about January. On the one hand, we pushed really hard and did a good job of sticking to our budget. On the other hand, we had some income that was supposed to come through that didn't, and so our budget kind of had to adjust. And that's the great thing about a budget. You can adjust your budget as needed as different life circumstances come up. But yeah, so it was a little disappointing that we weren't able to accomplish everything we had planned to do in January, but we did still do a good job sticking to our budget and using the income that we had to accomplish our goals. So let's take a look at the spreadsheet. If you like the spreadsheet, you can get it in my Etsy shop. It's an instant download, and it comes with a detailed video tutorial as well as me every single month showing you guys how I use it for our family budget. So that will be linked in the video description. So this is our family budget for January 2022, and as you can see right here, we expected total income of $10,080 and we received $9,821. So there was a difference of negative $259, and that wasn't that bad. Like, that would have been okay. But then if you go next to the pay yourself first, which is the investing, a lot of that income was actually referrals from you guys for signing up for M1 Finance. I had a lot of referrals come through at the beginning of January. And so I think in December, when I was posting lots of videos, I was getting more views. And so I had a lot of signups for M1 Finance, which M1 Finance is just an investing platform, kind of like Fidelity or Vanguard, but it's mostly an app that I just use on my phone, and they do a sign-up bonus. So if you open an account using my link, you get $50 and I get $50. So I got 12 signups in January, which was amazing. So thank you guys for using my link. If you are interested in signing up, they still do have their $50 promotion going on. It's going on till the end of March, I believe. So that link will be in the video description. But yeah, so I did get a lot of signups, but the thing is, that's part of the income that we received. So that's not like income that we can use to pay bills, because I just leave it in that account for investing for the long term. I don't typically withdraw it, but if I get lots and lots of signups and we have an off income month, maybe I'll have to withdraw some. But anyway, I didn't this month. So our income was short by $250, and of the income we did receive, $300 more went to investing than we had like budgeted for. So it's closer to a $550 swing rather than just like a $250 swing. So anyway, more money to investing is a great thing. I'm not mad about it, but we had planned to put money in our emergency fund this month and it just didn't happen. So we'll talk about it. Okay, so we talked about pay yourself first. So we put $600 to my brokerage account this month. And oh, by the way, if you get the budget spreadsheet, it comes with a gross and a net budget spreadsheet. So gross just means income before any taxes or insurance or any other deductions come out of your paycheck. And then net is just what you actually receive, that money that hits your bank account, like how much did you actually receive from money that you earned. So this month I'm using the net budget, so it doesn't show like my husband's 401k contributions, and it doesn't show the taxes that came out of this money. So this is after tax income that I'm talking about. But I've been going back and forth between net and gross, and I think I like the gross version better. I did back and forth between net and gross like every single month to show you guys both, and I kind of like looking at it both ways for a while. And now that I've been doing it for a while, I just really like seeing the gross budget, because we get an actual sense of like what percentage of our gross income is going to retirement and debt and all that stuff. I just looking at it from that perspective. So anyway, I think I'm gonna go to the gross budget next month and stick with that, but that's for next month. But anyway, so yeah, pay yourself first doesn't include my husband's 401k contributions because this is the net budget. So debt section, let's talk about the debt section. So we have two debts. So my husband's student loan that has a minimum payment of $830, which he made. My student loan, which has a minimum payment of $1,882, which we also made. And then we made a whopping $20 extra payment, and I couldn't resist not making an extra debt payment, even though it really wasn't in the budget this month. I just wanted to make a $20 payment because ever since we started our debt-free journey, I don't think we've gone a month without paying something extra. So I wanted to like keep that tradition going. So we paid $2,732 to debt this month. So that was $1 more than we had budgeted, but basically accomplished what we had planned to do budget-wise for our debt. All right, next for our fixed expenses, if you just look at this difference column, you can see right away that it was just pretty uneventful, and that's how I like this little box here to be because it's supposed to be fixed. Besides the unexpected category here, it's just like fixed bills and they don't really change, or if they are going to change, I know ahead of time usually, so I can plan it for the month before the budget is set for that month. So yeah, all of our fixed expenses came out: our condo fee, our mortgage, 2 life insurance payments, one for my husband and I each, and then internet, security, car insurance, subscriptions. And then we only spent $43 on unexpected expenses out of the $50 we budgeted. So I was really happy with that because I believe last month we did go quite a bit over on unexpected. So we kept it within budget there. And then we had a $500 expense that I just blocked out for privacy that we did pay in full. And so for the month, we were under by $7 for the fixed expenses category. So not much to see there, but that's like the goal, is for this one to be like kind of a boring category. The fun category to look at is the sinking funds, which we're going to talk about right now. Okay, sinking funds. So for emergency fund, we had budgeted $500 and we didn't put anything additional in there. We didn't spend anything from the emergency fund, but we didn't put anything additional. So the ending balance of our emergency fund is still $9,000. The emergency fund, like while we're paying off debt, my goal is to keep our emergency fund at 1 month of absolutely necessary expenses. And so if you just look at our budget, like what we actually spent this month is $9,821, but as we'll talk about in a second, like almost $500, $450 went to a vacation fund, and there's just some other like a home decor and like some other miscellaneous things. And our personal spending is kind of high. That's just what we budget every single month because we're on a like 5, 6, 7, 8 year debt-free journey, and we can't live on $25 a month of personal spending indefinitely. So there's definitely things that could be cut out. And so our emergency fund, the way I look at it, is 1 month of essential expenses. And so really, if you look at this budget, oh, and we had this $500 expense that's like not typical expense. So the point of all that is that our minimum like necessary expenses for 1 month, which is again what I think I'm comfortable with for an emergency fund while we're paying off debt. When we're done paying off debt, I definitely want to bump it up to 3 to 6 months of necessary expenses or more. But while we're paying off debt, 1 month is where we feel comfortable, and 1 month would really be closer to $9,000. So I want to bump it up to 10 because 10's a nice round number, and I just like things that are like that. Like, I don't know if you guys get that, but I just like round numbers or things to be even, and 9,000, it's just 1,000 away from 10,000. So I'd rather just have like $10,000 emergency fund, so it would cover not just 1 month of necessary, but 1 month of like all expenses, even kind of like the extras, because yeah, it just would make me feel better to have that. So the point of all this is we didn't have enough money in our budget this month to actually put anything into the emergency fund because of the income discrepancy from what we had expected. So we thought we'd be able to put $500, but we couldn't put anything. But we really don't need to worry about quickly building that up because it's not like our emergency fund is at like $2,000 or $5,000. We're really at 1 month of necessary expenses right now. So putting an extra $1,000 in there over the course of the next like 3 to 6 months, I think I'd feel totally fine with. But the sooner the better if we could just knock it out. But it's just not gonna happen this month or next month or March. And so we're looking at like maybe April. And like I'm totally okay with that because I feel like emergency fund is enough for what we would need for 1 month. Okay, so that's my emergency fund little spiel, I guess. So let's take a look at the rest of the sinking funds. So for groceries, we started the month with a balance of negative $45. We budgeted $1,000. We actually contributed $1,000 to that sinking fund. And if you're not familiar with sinking funds, conceptually, I like to think of them as like digital cash envelopes. So we budgeted $1,000 to put in our grocery cash envelope, and then we actually put $1,000 in there. And then what the spent column means is that's how much cash we spent out of the envelope. So yeah, we put $1,000 into the envelope. We spent $951, which left us with an ending balance of $4, which is good because now we caught up to our grocery fund. I will say it was like by the hair of our chinny chin chin that we were able to do this. Like we really, really pushed hard. We didn't get any takeout. Like it just was a really strict, disciplined grocery month to be able to hit this number. And I am, how pregnant am I? 18 weeks? I think I'm 17. I'm 17 or 18 weeks. I can't remember right now. I'm not gonna look. But anyway, I think like right now while I'm feeling okay in pregnancy and have like somewhat more energy, I can get by with like really pushing hard on groceries, but as I get more into pregnancy, I just don't know how realistic it is that we're going to be able to keep it at $1,000. So stuff is just getting so expensive, and I just don't know that we'll be able to stay so disciplined so many months in a row. So anyway, we're gonna take it 1 month at a time. That's kind of like how I approach life anyways, like 1 month at a time, or 1 day or 1 week or 1 hour at a time sometimes. But yeah, groceries, I don't know. We'll see. It's really $250 a week, so like some months we have $1,250, but yeah, it's rough out there with groceries. It's really expensive. So all right, next, this is maybe controversial to some people, but we did not fund our emergency fund, but we had planned to put $500 into our vacation fund, and we put $447, so now we have a balance of $457 in our vacation fund. So I could have not put any money in the vacation fund and put money in the emergency fund, and we would have basically met our emergency fund goal this month, but we haven't been on vacation in over 3 years, and we just want to put money in our vacation fund. We want to take a little trip before baby number 2 is born sometime in the spring, and so we want to start putting away a little bit of money for that. Nothing crazy. We're just going to take a road trip down to an aquarium that's close by and like stay overnight and go out to lunch and stuff with my daughter and my husband, but that's the plan for right now. So we really don't need that much money for that trip, but we do want to make sure we plan for it and take it. And with all these sinking funds, really, like in a true emergency, we could pull from any unnecessary sinking funds to pay for necessary expenses. So again, could have put money into the emergency fund this month and not funded vacation, but it's time. We need a vacation after everything we've been through in the last few years. Everything everyone's been through, everyone needs a vacation right now. So yeah, we put some money into our vacation fund, which we feel really excited about. All right, then we've got my husband's spending, my spending, and my daughter's expenses, which I block out just so we can have a little bit of privacy with that. And then baby number 2, we're putting money aside for her. So her fund was at $357. We put $100 away this month, and we spent $38. I got her some like sleepers and like a couple little like hair bow things, really not necessary stuff. But well, the sleepers, we have a lot of clothes, but we definitely need to supplement a little bit. So yeah, I just saw some stuff that I thought was cute for a good price, so I just grabbed it. But I'm really gonna try not to do much of that until I take a good inventory of all our stuff, because we have a daughter already and we're having another girl, so we have a lot of stuff that we need. I'm really hoping to like go very minimal with everything we need. Like I made a registry for stuff because I know like friends and family are gonna want to offer to buy us stuff, and if they're gonna buy us stuff, I'd rather them buy stuff that we need rather than just like miscellaneous stuff or them not being sure what we need. So I did make a registry, or I'm starting to work on it, and there's only like 30 items on it, and some of them are like $1 or $2 each, because it's just like we have so much stuff. So I'm gonna try to take inventory of like our baby clothes for like at least the first year soon. I don't want to do it too soon because I feel like it's so far away, but then at the same time, like now while I'm feeling good and have energy to do it, I feel like I want to just get it done. So yeah, I want to work on that, so as people start asking like what we need, I can give them specific answers. But so her fund is at $419. She's due the beginning of July, so we do have several months to keep saving. Well, only like 5 months. It's going faster than I expected it would. So yeah, it's gonna be here before we know it. So I am glad that we are saving up every single month for her. Next is kids activities / preschool. So right now it's just, I should just put kids activities because it's not for preschool. So we put away aside $50 a month. I'm gonna have to up this to $100 because I did find a class I'm gonna enroll my daughter in, and it is $100 a month. So I am gonna up that to $100, but for February, we'll be all set because that January and February $50 will cover February, and then starting in March, that will be up to $100. Okay, next, Miles' expenses. Miles is my cat. He gets $150 a month. This month we had a little bit of a more expensive month for him because he went to the vet. He got his pet insurance pulled out, which comes out every month, and then we ordered a bunch of cat litter for him. So it was definitely a more expensive month, so his fund is a little negative, but next month will be less expensive, and the $150 will cover everything he needs and catch it up to $0. So he's all set. That's looking good. And then for gas, we only had one fill up this month, so we did put $100 in our gas fund, and we still have $69 in there. So next month, if you watched my February budget, I said our budget's a little tighter in February. It's like somebody, do you guys like stare down people who are like stopped in front of your house. There's a window to the front of our house right now, and this lady just stopped there and was like looking around. I'm like, what are you doing? Anyway, okay, now she's like backing up and then going for it. Anyway, so we did only put $50 in our gas fund next month because it's a little bit of a tighter budget month, if you guys watched my February budget video. So we will have plenty of money for gas in February because we only filled up once in January. And then for gifts, we put $100 aside. We did spend $120, and so that is negative $20, but that's not too bad. I'm trying to keep these sinking funds positive or close to positive so it doesn't get too far off. For home decor, we put aside $25. I spent $36 on some Valentine's Day decor, and so we ended with that fund at exactly $0 because we had started with $11 in there. And then for car maintenance, we didn't spend anything this month. Oh wait, no, we did. I paid my husband's car registration, so he spent $60. So that has $65 in it, and I need an oil change. So that'll be gone for next month, but that's okay. And then for house maintenance, we started out with $64. We did put $75 in there, and then we spent $250. So when you own a house, just stuff comes up. So anyway, that one is at negative $115. So hoping that nothing else comes up in the next couple of months so we can get that one caught up. And like I've told you guys, like ideally we would have a very robust car maintenance fund and house maintenance fund, and I look forward to the time when we can do all that stuff when we are debt free. But right now the priority is paying as much extra to debt as possible, so I keep some of these funds like around $0 or just have 100 or 2 in it generally, because it's just not a place I want to park a lot of extra cash when we're paying interest on our debt. All right, our cell phone fund had $917. We put a bunch of money in there for when we bought 2 new iPhones as our celebration to having paid off $100,000 of debt. And so we had to finance them to get the deal with Verizon. So I just put money in a sinking fund. So it's already like kind of paid off because I didn't want to like take on new debt, but I had to. So that way we can just keep paying our same amount every month for our phone bill, and the difference will just come out of the sinking fund until the phones are paid off. So we budgeted $150, and then our bill was $197, and we have $870 left in that fund. Next is town, sewer, and water. So these bills come out like quarterly. One of them comes quarterly and the other is like twice a year. So one of them did come out this month for $131, and so we have $196 left in that fund. And that fund has been like maintaining itself pretty nicely. Like that $85 seems to be working. Okay, and then for utilities. So we started the month with $490 in there. We put $600 in because we were pre-funding for a month, because we usually put $300, and I know that it's either February or March, I can't remember which one. I think it's March. We had planned not to put any in there, so we put extra in January. And so yeah, our utilities this month were $451. So it's always more expensive in the winter. It makes me a little bit nervous because this is our January budget, and so that's utilities for like part of November into part of December, which wasn't really that cold. And now December to January has been like very cold, and January to February is also going to be very cold. So hopefully this fund will get through the winter months. It's intended to like kind of average out to $300 throughout the year, but winter and summer are more expensive, and then spring and fall are less than $300. So that's why we budget $300, and that's been working for the last year. So hopefully it will get us through. Hopefully inflation hasn't hit utilities so badly that we need to up this, but it is what it is. We have to be like not freezing in our house. As it is, it's like still cold in our house. It's super cold actually. I always have like multiple layers on, socks, slippers, like we're all bundled up a lot of times in certain rooms because it's just like you can't keep the house warm enough. And so yeah, $451 for utilities a month, but we still have $639 in there. So fingers crossed that this will keep up. And then finally, for my daughter's birthday fund / Christmas fund, it started out at $0 because it's a new year and we spent it all last year. And so we put $100 in there. We didn't spend anything. And so that fund has $100. So it feels good to have $100 set aside for my daughter's birthday / Christmas already, even though it's just January. Her birthday's in May. And then obviously Christmas is in December, so we feel good to be like already setting aside money for that. Okay, so we're gonna take a look next at our budgeted summary versus what we actually spent. So Again, this month was pretty on. Pay Yourself First was definitely larger than we had planned. We only planned to put 3% of our net income to Pay Yourself First, and we put 6%. And then to debt, we put 27% of our income, and then a little bit less went to fixed expenses and sinking funds than we had planned on. So it was basically like the sinking funds are what suffered. There was like 5% less to sinking funds that we had planned on, and that's because of that emergency fund that didn't get funded. So it is what it is. I'm not going to worry about it too much. It's, you know, sometimes stuff happens with income and you can't control it. So yeah, you can predict as much as you can to try to be accurate, but that's why my budget has a budgeted column and an actual column. And if you see up here, it says left to budget and left to spend actual. And so the way the budget works is when you put in your budgeted income, like your predicted income, and then you put everything in the budgeted columns. So this column of your budget and also this column of your budget, it'll subtract from your budgeted income to get down to zero, because this is a zero-based budget. And so you can budget all of your income into all of your different spending categories and savings items. And then for left to spend actual, the way that is calculated is it takes what you actually enter into the income column and subtract the actual numbers that you put into the actual column, because sometimes what you budget for your income and what actually is received in your income is different. And so that way, when you're spending throughout the month, you're saying, okay, how much income do we actually have left versus how much we're actually spending, rather than spending against your budgeted income, which sometimes could be less. Sometimes it could be more. It's always nice when you get more income in the month than you budgeted for, but sometimes it's less, and that's what happened this month. But that's okay. It still ended up being, I think, a good month. I'll call this month a win because we stayed on track with a couple like difficult budget categories, and so yeah, I'm happy with it, and we'll just keep plugging along and keep moving forward in this year into February, and I'm excited to see everything that this year brings. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, if you like this spreadsheet, you can get it in my Etsy shop, which is linked in the video below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and hit that red subscribe button down there if you would like to follow along with more videos like this from me, and I will talk to you guys soon in my next video. Bye!